I am so freaking tired all the time. No matter what I do, no matter what I eat or drink, no matter how much I sleep, I am still tired. Why? Why am I tired? There is a reason, or a couple. What's up, dreamers? Welcome to Driving and Vibing. Today I want to talk about why you may be so tired all the time, so fatigued. So I don't want to get out of bed. That's me sometimes, actually. Yeah, I mean, there could be a couple of reasons for why. Now, I'm going to disclaimer, this is not medical advice. None of my videos are. I'm not a medical professional. This is all research-based, anecdotal, and I've taught myself a lot. And trial and error, obviously. And also, there's a lot of individual variances. So this is important. You are different than me. You may not know that, but you are. May not realize that, but you are. You're very different from me. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for the next person, okay? So you got to keep that in mind when I go over stuff, when you learn new stuff. It's trial and error to find out what works for you always and forever. Now, let's get into it. Sleep is very important. There are technically four sleep cycles: light, deep, and REM. You want to hit all three. We're going to talk about three because deep is cut into two, I believe. I'm not a scientist. So you want to hit all three. Now, if you're fatigued all the time, but you're getting enough hours of sleep, maybe the sleep that you're getting is not quality sleep. The only way to kind of figure that out is to measure it by using a wearable, having a smart watch, or like a smart mattress. Smart mattresses are apparently real. According to my brother, he has one. So that's cool. I just kind of learned about that. But I wear a Whoop on this arm, and I'm not going to take my hand off the camera, but I have a Garmin on my other arm. Watch. So I have two wearables, and I'm going to add a third, or actually two rings, to kind of get a feel for it. So I track a lot of recovery, sleep, stress. It kind of has stress. I'll make a video on all this, but it's very important to see if you're getting good sleep, good quality sleep. And I'm going to give an example. There are days where I wake up so tired, like my whole body aches. I'm tired. I'm like, I got terrible sleep. I know I did. And then I feel terrible in the morning, and then the rest of the day I feel okay. So I wouldn't say terrible. I just feel like fatigued. I feel worn out when I first wake up. And then within like the first hour and a half, I start to, like, that feeling goes away, and then I feel good the whole day. Like my energy levels seem to be fine. Now, when I first wake up, I initially think, man, terrible sleep. But when I look at my wearables, when I look at what I've tracked, it says I've had really high recovery. Okay, so initially, without being able to see what I tracked, without being able to see how I slept, I would instantly assume I got bad sleep. So I would, technically I would, without them, I would have eliminated whatever I did beforehand, or tried to alter the sleep pattern that I had, right? Sleep patterns are important. Like, kind of like your routine, sleep routine, that's what I meant. Now, there's been days where I wake up and I'm just chock full of energy right out of the gate. Like, I feel great. I could get up. I could run a marathon. I could run a marathon right out of the bed. And then I look at my recovery, it's very low. Today was a good example. My recovery was at 39%. That's terrible. I got terrible sleep. I didn't sleep as many hours. Even though I started laying in bed 3 hours or so before, so I got 5 hours. I was literally in bed at the 7-hour mark, we'll say, not 3. Where I could have gotten 7 hours of sleep, but I did not fall asleep. That's my fault. I understand why, blah, blah, blah. Things and stuff and things. But my recovery was terrible, but I felt great. And I still feel okay throughout, but I know at some point today I'm going to feel a little bit of a crash. I usually do. On days like today, where I wake up chock full of energy, my recovery is very low, I get some sort of like fatigue feeling throughout the day. It only lasts a little bit, and then I get a second wind, basically. But so that's misleading as well. Like, I could wake up instantly and be like, man, I got great sleep, and then halfway through the day, be like, man, what the heck? Like, I'm super tired. Keeping your energy consistent is very important, right? So there is one reason for why you may be tired. I'm not gonna drag this out too long. As a matter of fact, that's one of the biggest reasons for why you may be tired. I'm not even going to jump into another one. I do have other topics on this topic that I think are very important, but we're going to talk about sleep. So let's talk about your sleep routine before I turn the channel off. Sleep routine is very important. What does that mean? your sleep routine is what you do before you go to bed and what you do when you immediately wake up. That's a sleep routine. Obviously, when you're sleeping, like, you can't really do much with sleeping, so that's pretty obvious, self-explanatory. When you're sleeping, you're sleeping. But what you do before bed is important. If you're sitting there playing high intensity video games, right up to the moment you go to bed, like you get off the game, you brush your teeth, you go to bed, you're probably going to have a hard time actually shutting that brain down of yours. Okay, like those brain waves are still going to be cycling because of that, and obviously there's a lot of chemical reactions that go on. Again, I'm not a geologist or a biologist. A lot of chemicals that go on in your body that are going to keep you kind of awake for a little bit because you were in an intense, video game for a while. So having some sort of wind down routine, reading a book, doing yoga, stretching, like just kind of sitting there, some quiet time basically, and no screens. That's pretty important. Probably for, I think the average they say is like an hour. Obviously, if you're a busy person, that's tough. But even try 20 minutes. I bet you'll sleep much better. Just 20 minutes with a routine. And then when you first wake up, don't touch the phone. Don't touch the phone for at least an hour. Obviously within reason. Like if you wake up and you have to walk out the door, or you work from home and you wake up and you like within a half an hour, whatever. But try again for 20 minutes not to touch that phone, because when you first, that puts your mind into, that's for another day. I could talk too much about that, and I don't want to drag this video out too much longer. But just try not to touch your phone right out of the beginning. And if you can, get some sunlight. Sunlight is very important. That'll set your circadian rhythm. That'll set your energy levels for the day. It'll tell your body to wake up. That is also very important. You only need to get sun for a couple of minutes right in the morning, and the benefits will be there. So almost just, wow, that was crazy. Anyway, I'm going to cut the video there. If you have any tips of your own, let me know in the comments. Love to get this conversation started. Hit that like button, helps out the channel. Hit that subscribe button for more content like this. And I hope to see everybody next video. Later, dreamers.